Chapter 5 Landforms of the Earth. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about the mountains, and in this lecture, we'll discuss about plateaus and plains. So, what is a plateau? Plateau is defined as an area of high elevation, that is 500 feet above the ground level. Look at this diagram, like plateau 500 feet above the ground level, and it has steep slope and the top is flat. Because the top is flat, so it is known as tableland. On the basis of mode of formation, plateaus are of two types. The first is Intermountain Plateaus. Intermountain Plateaus means the plateaus which are located in between the mountains, which are surrounded by the mountains or the hills. They are considered the highest and the most extensive plateaus. They are formed along with the formation of fold mountains. When the fold mountains were formed, they were formed in between those mountains. Example, Tibetan Plateau. Tibetan Plateau is enclosed between Himalayas and Kunlun Mountains. And Colombian Plateau. Volcanic Plateaus. These plateaus are formed due to volcanic eruptions. Their structure is glassy and basaltic. For example, Colombian Plateau, it has about 20 layers of lava. So 20 layers of lava shows that volcano erupted 20 times over there. Next, landform plains. Now, what are plains? Plain is defined as an extensive area or lowland with a leveled or gently undulating surface. These are about 500 feet above the sea level, and the slope is gradual. It is never steep or abrupt. Now, the plains are seldom formed by single process. They are formed by different sources. The agents are different. Their location is different. On the basis, we have many types of plains. The first one is structural plains. The structural plains are formed by upliftment or the subsidence of the land. For example, Great Plains of USA, they are formed by the upliftment of land. And another example of subsistence landform is by the sedimentation. Another example of subsistence which is followed by, means the first the land subsided and then it is filled with the sediment. Example is Coromandel Plains. Second is depositional plains. These are formed by the deposits brought down by the rivers. River brought lot of sediment and deposited in the lowland areas. Example, northern plains of India. Piedmont alluvial plains. Pied means foot, mont means mountain. The plains which are found at the foot of the mountain. These plains are also formed by the sediment brought down by the rivers from the mountains. Next type is floodplains. Floodplains are found along the rivers. For example, along the Ganga river. Now, how are they formed? Now, what is a floodplain? Why it is known as floodplain? Because as the water of the stream widens the valley or overflows its banks during floods, the alluvium carried by the river get deposited in that lowland area. So, the floodplains are formed. Why floodplains are called granaries of the world? if we see most of the floodplains like northern plains of India, the pampas of South America, prairies of North America, they all are the granaries of the world. Why? Because the soil is very fertile. It is renewed every year. So there is huge production of wheat or other cereals. These floodplains are of two types, Khadar and Bangar. Khadar is a new alluvium, that is new, and Bangar is older than Khadar. In the Khadar, the soil is replenishable, and in Bangar, it is non-replenishable. Because it is replenishable, so it is fertile, and Bangar, it is less fertile. Khadar has fine particles of soil, and Bangar soil has coarse or kankars. Khadar is light in color, and Bangar is dark in color. Next type of plains which are found, they are formed by wind. Wind deposits its material, its fine particles of soil, and plains are formed. These are sandy deserts, example Thar Desert or Sahara Desert. Now these are not even, they are undulating. Why? Because it has sand hills and depressions. Another example of wind deposition plains is Lois Plane in China. Lois is the layer of fine mineral rich material. Next type of plain is the marine deposition. These are found in the coastal areas. For example, in Denmark, we find polders and dikes. Now, what is a polder? Polder is a piece of land which is reclaimed from the sea or lake. Means the coastal area which is submerged in water, that is part of the land which is submerged in ocean water, that is taken back and embankment is made along that. Dike is embankment. So after making embankment, the water is pumped out of that area and it is used to cultivate crops or for various other purposes. Importance of landforms. Landforms are very important. They provide scenic beauty, so which promotes tourism. Tourist industry flourishes on the basis of that. It has great impact on climate also. Mountains are cooler than plains. As the height increases, the temperature decreases, and direction of winds is also decided by the landforms. Precipitation, they causes precipitation, like windward side of the mountains receive heavy rainfall and they are source of rivers. Mountains, if they are snow covered, then they are source of perennial rivers. If they receive seasonal rainfall, then we have non-perennial rivers, and there are forests.